Hello and welcome to my short video tutorial on how you can use and get up ready with GCP Google Cloud. So the Google Cloud environment, which is Google's version of the cloud environment after Microsoft Azure and Amazon's AWS. Google's attempt is very good. It's very easy to use and it's accessible to anyone with a Gmail account. So you can see here I've got a Gmail account here, and I can use, like anybody else, I've got access to the Google Cloud environment for my personal project. So I can just type in cloud.console here, go to the Google Cloud platform, can access, try it for free. You will notice when you arrive that you will have a box here. I'm using the free trial at the moment. You have up to around about just under £300 in the UK, um, to up to 3 months as well. So you've got plenty of credit just to play around with the environment. And it's an environment where you can do many things to organize your workload, to try things with SQL, um, VMs. You can build your own app. So you've got plenty of free credit there to have a go. So I'm just going to show you some of the simple things you can do to get yourself off the ground. So as you can see here, I'm using a project which is called Rugby Green. Now you can create a project name after anything you want. So it could be after a department like sales or marketing, or maybe you've got a project where you're collecting blood sugars. So you might want to call the project Blood Sugars. I've just called a generic name called Rugby Green, and I'm using that as a project to play around with. So here we are in that project. Now, one of the beauties of Google Cloud, you've got the thing here, the Cloud Shell, where you can run commands um, to create machines. So I'm just going to open that up and show you how to start a quick VM. Okay, so now we are in the Google Cloud environment, in the Google Cloud Shell. Now you can create a VM in many ways, in two ways actually, but I'm going to show you, which is probably slightly the hardest way, which is the shell way, which is is quite useful with the Google command line. So let's create a simple machine. So gcloud compute instances, create my VM1, and we're going to put it in the zone US Central 1A to create that. So that's being created at the moment. And there we are. We've got a new VM which has been loaded up. It's got an internal IP address and an external IP address. So let me show you how we can go into that. So I'm going to go into the hamburger menu, compute engine, and select VM instances. Okay, so there you go. So under VM instances, we have now got one machine there. So the easiest way to go into it would be by SSH. So we're going to make a secure connection to that new VM. Accept the SSH. So it's just going through now. And now we're in the VM now, the VM itself. So we can check the IP addresses. The Google Cloud Shell has given these two IP addresses at the bottom here. So let's just compare it if that's the one we see on here. What have we got? 10.128.0.2. That's good. So this has also got an external IP address, which means we should be able to ping google.com. Let's have a look. And we're able to ping. So we've got an outside connection to the outside world. So that's excellent. So that is how to set up a VM. I can close the SSH here. I can go back into the shell. And then I can do an up arrow and I can actually stop. So the create keyword can be replaced with stop. And if we just keep an eye on this top section here, we'll see the status being removed shortly. So you can have a look now. The green status has been removed. It's now you can fire it up tomorrow if you wish. You can just leave it like that, and that will be fine. If you've built the server up to a spec and to an application standard that you wish to have it as, you may want to keep that. If I want to now delete it, I can just do an up arrow and replace the word stop with delete. So that will delete. Yep, just needs confirmation. Let's have a look now. Just do a refresh. And you can see it's gone. Okay, so that was the harder way. The easier way, the step 2 way, which would be just to go back into the console. You can ignore this total section here with the black section of the Cloud Shell terminal, and simply as you can just go to create instance here. Okay, so we've got a chance here now. We can give it any name we wish, just like we did in the command line. I'll just leave it like that. I can change the region here as well. The interesting thing is you've got all these low CO2 places here. So I'm just going to pick the London one. And then you got it picks the region, and within the region you have a number of different zones. These are like physical data centers which is placed in each region. So London West, which is Europe West 2, has got 3 data centers listed here, so I'll put it into C. There is a map on the Google Cloud website which shows you the different regions and the zones. Here we've got the interesting thing here. Let me just remove, well, I'll bring that down here actually. So I'm going to go for the E2, which is the lowest version of computing, is the cheapest price. We just need something to demonstrate. 2 CPUs, 4 gig of RAM. Obviously we can toggle that to get something higher, a higher spec as per here. Obviously the price will go up as you pick the higher spec machines. And then the other point which is really interesting is, let me find it. Yeah. So at the moment I'm going to use the E2 machine, which is a Debian, which will be a Linux OS. If I want something a bit more commercial, as in a Windows machine, I can just change it here and go for Windows Server here, and then you've got the various versions of Windows to choose from. You can change the size of the boot disk, and obviously that will then dependent of a higher price as well. Don't worry too much this at the moment. This is something which is down to permissions, which is a video in itself. Interesting here this could be interesting. If you don't want to use an external IP address, you can just come into the networking here and you can set the IP address here. That's your internal IP address. And if you don't want an external IP address, so I'm just going to switch that off. Ephemeral for the internal is fine. External IP address, if I don't want to go out to Google and ping it, I will just go to none here. And then here we can just go to create. So let's have a look at that. And there we have it. We have a machine created as per our spec. You notice now there's no external IP address. There's just one internal IP address there. So let's try to SSH into it. Authorize SSH. And then we're into the command prompt. So that's great. We'll do an API again. Same IP address. This time we'll try to ping Google. We're not expecting it to go through because we haven't got no external IP address. And there you can see it struggles there. Okay, great. So that's how to create a VM. There's two different ways how to create VMs. And obviously you can just stop and delete it from here. So I'm just going to delete it straight away. So I hope that video has been quite helpful. It's just a short video on how to create a VM, how to get up and started, up and ready with Google Cloud Platform. Like I say, as you go deeper into the platform, it's a really, really good cloud solution. There's so much to offer, so many layers to it. And it's just the tip of the iceberg which we looked today, but I'll make more videos on how you can get up to speed and use more of the things available within the platform. So I hope you enjoyed it, and thank you for joining. Thank you. Bye bye.